this is going to be a really fun shoot. As you can see behind me, I've got quite a large scene projected onto a wall and a boat. Now, before you even think, yeah, but I can't do that, it's not about you creating what I'm creating today. Today is about basically just letting your imagination run wild and using the resources and the things that you have access to create something that tells a story, or even if it doesn't tell a story, it's just fun. And one of the biggest things for me as a photographer, and probably one of the biggest sort of, I suppose, turning points within my career, as in the way that I photographed, the way that I took photos, the way that I approached different sessions, the way that I kind of went into all of my shoots, is I used to be very sort of, I suppose, weighed down by what other people might think of the photos I take, even at the time that I was taking them, even before I got to a session. And then when I started to really kind of just let all of that go and create for me and really listen to my clients, that's when I saw that turning point, because I started to identify my own unique style and voice within, I suppose, my craft, my art. And that's what it's all about. Like, photography is an art form, and what you can create is entirely up to you. So I'm always photographing my kids. Today, obviously, is a teenage portrait shoot. I've got Mackenzie here. She's always up for my wild and crazy ideas, and we often collaborate to work on different concepts and different things that she's going to be, you know, happy to be involved with, I suppose, because no kid's going to want to be in a photo that they can't connect to, or, you know, be a part of the process and the story. And that's why I love getting my kids involved, because being able to create, being able to use my imagination and bring my ideas to life shows them that anything's possible. And that's what I want them, you know, to grow up knowing, that they can try, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you learn from the process. And that's what this is all about today. So I've not done anything too, you know, outlandish in terms of costume or anything like that. I want Mackenzie to actually be really very natural. So the only thing that I've purchased for this shoot is the dry ice. That's cost me, I think I've got 10 kilos, because you can buy it in 5 kilo blocks. So I bought 10 kilos, it's about 30 Australian dollars for 5 kilos, so it's about $60. And I bought the little lantern just from an outdoor camping place, and it was $16 Australian. So that's all I've spent to create this particular setup. So you don't need to, you know, spend a fortune. Borrow, I say, as much as you possibly can. My camera angle for this, now Mackenzie's going towards my scene, my location. My camera angle is actually going to be behind her, so I've got to think about how I pose her so that I can see her face. Okay, so you can see the projector light on her face. Now there's something that we can do in Photoshop to actually remove that. It just means I have to paint that out, erase that part of the image, paint it black so that it's not actually projecting any light onto her face. So you see that bright line on her face? So because we don't want the image projected onto her, I've got the image open here in Photoshop, and you can see my little mouse down there, my little paintbrush. Now I'm just going to paint black over her face, and so yes, it's creating a black blob off to the side. I can clone that out. I can use the patch tool in Photoshop to fix that. But it's taken that light off her face there. There we go. Okay, chin up, looking at me. Turn your head towards me. Okay, just move around a little bit. There you go. No more light on her, which is fantastic. Chin towards me, Ken's leaning forward. That's it. we go. Garrett, before you push the button, can you just pull the cape out up so it's sitting up on that back bit there for me? Turn your shoulders towards me a little more, sweetie. Good job, and leaning forward. That's it. Nice, thank you. All right, here we go. It might come down. It'll come down. It'll come down. There we go. Chin up. All right, I think as much as I tried to get an in-camera, complete out-of-camera, final raw, I think I've got a lot of images here that I can work with to create something pretty amazing. So what I've kind of learnt from this is obviously space. When you're working with dry ice, you've got to work really quickly. When you're working with lights, to make sure that you can obviously adjust your lights and change them as much as you possibly can. Even though I've got something and I'm really happy with it, I'm always going, what could I do better next time? And that's like with any shoot. So I've seen over the last couple of days quite a few members kind of come in and say how devastated they were. They feel like they went backwards during that shoot, or they didn't get what they wanted, or you know, their plans went out the window, or whatever it was. That's okay. I just did this live. And while I'm kind of going, yeah, I'm a little bummed I didn't get it exactly right, but that's just the perfectionist in me that's now going to make me readjust my thought process for next time I want to do some crazy idea like this, because there's so many different elements that I've tried to bring into the one photo. Like realistically, I don't know anyone that'd get that perfect in camera. Well, there will be. I don't personally know them, but there would be someone out there, I can guarantee you.
They might also put 3 months work into it and a huge budget and all of that sort of thing.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the image there on the screen, and I'm kind of like, even though it's not the last, the best image that I've taken, just looking at the dimension within this, like it doesn't look fake to me, like in terms of, you know, perspective. I've got that right. I tried to match the light as much as I could and create, you know, something that would match the background. We've got storytelling in terms of bringing the different elements together. I don't know why she's on a boat, but we've got a cross in terms of her rosary beads that she's holding on to, and she's moving towards a church, a place of worship. So for her, that's something, you know, there's connection there within the different elements to create the story. And that's what it's all about. It's just bringing together lots of different moving pieces and adding and subtracting and changing the way that you do things that will really, I think, create something. And don't ever kind of go in the back of your mind, yeah, well, I don't have a big white studio, I don't have a big projector. It doesn't matter what you've got or what you don't have. You have a lot of things around you that you can use. We all do. We just have to get creative with the way that we allow our imagination to go, do you know what, that could work. So I suppose for me personally, when I am creating something like this, there's no I can't. There's always a way around the different challenges that we're faced with, and it's always just pushing and pushing and pushing to create something different, something new, something exciting. And I can guarantee you, when you do, you're going to set yourself apart from everyone else, and you'll finally create work that's true to you. And, you know, I don't know what you call that thing inside you, whatever you want to call it, it's bringing it out and letting it speak. and sharing it with the world, because there's no point in getting to a place and going, I wish I had have. I could have. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? And it's just allowing yourself that time, that place to do it, because I can tell you it reignites something within you and it gets you excited about your craft. And when I do this and I play with my kids and I have fun, that passion that's been reignited, every time I go into a shoot for my clients, it's there. I don't feel flat, I don't feel bored, I don't feel strained or stressed with all the challenges of running a business. I feel passionate about what it is that I do and what I create for the people that are in the photographs, and that's what it's all about.